Mahila. So Habakkuk 1 and 2 are very, very heavy. Habakkuk's the prophet. It talks about, okay, God's going to come down from heaven, and this time he's bringing a troop with him, and they're like leopards, and they're like evening wolves, and they're like an eagle that hasteth to eat. Okay. So with the picture that is created, they are going through these crowds of people as the sand of the sea, okay, as the sand of the beach. So it appears to be a type of high spirit. This is the way that I interpret it. And it is such a type of war song. It's really a war song. It's a war chant. Even Habakkuk 4 is on, or Habakkuk 3 is on the stringed instruments. So that's Habakkuk 3. Now, Habakkuk 1 and 2, this is the high spirit, is Habakkuk 1. Now, Habakkuk 2 talks about the brick elm and make himself thick with the brick elm. And it talks about he stumbles from strong drink. He's taken aback from strong drink, and it reads as a type of Chris Evans in the Avengers, where he's doing DTR. He's doing the Fight Club type of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, it very much reads like it's almost like a Deuteronomy response. And it is a type of law to be kept if you are sober, is Habakkuk 2. Okay? So you have to remember that this is all part and in the very midst, the very core center of the Assyrian scrolls, the Assyrian little book. And it says, like, how long? And that is not his. Will he take what is not his? And this is reflected that it is talking to the Assyrian, where his wound is incurable. And you read it as a book that is in the middle of the Bible. And it goes, into Micah and into Zephaniah. It pretty much ends at Zephaniah. And it is all of these minor prophets that talk about the Assyrian. And the way that the Bible has been recorded and changed is that these are war chants and poems and songs that are in Habakkuk 1 through 3. Okay. But specifically 1 and 2 is, okay, the high spirit, and then this type of DTR, double trouble in recovery, would be chapter 2. And it is a response to the war of chapter 1. And then chapter 3 is on the stringed instrument. It's a song. And it's very good. I mean, this whole section here is a diamond. Okay. It can be interpreted in the moment, but it is the chapter 3 is some of the most exclusively descriptive of the Bible as a whole. Just, it's very, very descriptive of this type of response to the high spirit and the soberness. Chapter 3 goes right into detail of, okay, what does a king do? Basically, what does a king do if you're approaching this in wartime, like you're a conciliary, or if you're a Godfather Don? And it means combating the spiritual with reality. And you have the bright sun, you have the Matrix, Acts, ACTS, and then you have these spiritual realms like wizards and aliens that make manifest. And it says, what does a king or a prince or a vizier or an astrologist that has the telescope and is fitted? It means very fitted, like they have their uniform on, like they can have multiple uniforms, and they can be diverse uniforms where they have their own style and they have their telescope, they have their weapons, they have everything fitted for a war, and they are responding to this world around them. How do they get through? And it talks about, okay, is it by money? Is it by, you have a Bible in your pocket, in your back pocket? Is it by your job that you're dependent on what you're doing in society? It's chapter 3 is very French. It reads like it's French 1600s or 1500s, like the Renaissance. It can mean there's mire in the street. It can be put in that setting, like a New Orleans bayou setting. It can be read in all of those capacities where you can put yourself into it and say, okay, I'm a king like Thor or Odin, and say, I'm going to get my eye back like Odin, right? Like it's all in there to say, like, this is the song of the harp to say, how do I respond to this dimensional that I am with nature? I am a native. And it talks about the heathen in chapter 1. And it says this has never been done. And then it talks about in chapter 2, okay, how do we respond to that type of spiritual awareness where you have a heightened sense of, okay, now I got to get sober after I got high in chapter 1. And then chapter 3 is like, have a well-rounded approach as a king or a soldier or a scholar or like, think of yourself in the pen on a ship, like you're at sea. You're having dreams of the depths of the ocean.